Being alone isn't weakness, it's a source of strength. Solitude teaches you that at the end of the day, the person you truly depend on is yourself. Most of the fears we carry are created in our minds while waiting and hesitating. Only through taking action do we overcome them. If you want confusion, ask for too many opinions. But if you want clarity, trust your own decision. Don't waste time looking back. That path is already closed. The pain others bring into your life often becomes the very fuel that shapes your resilience. Life will challenge you hardest, right before offering its greatest rewards. When you choose to focus on pain, suffering grows. But when you seek the lessons hidden inside, growth becomes unstoppable. The opportunity you keep searching for often lies in the very work you are avoiding. Your mindset determines your direction. Negativity will keep you stuck, while positivity will carry you forward. Keep your plans private and move in silence. Action speaks louder than any announcement. Even in nature, a fish survives by keeping its mouth shut. Those who tell you you can't are usually projecting their own fears of what happens when you succeed. Be mindful of your inner voice, because your heart listens to every word you speak to yourself. Stop doubting your journey. Your path isn't meant to mirror anyone else's. It is unique, and that uniqueness is what makes it powerful. Happiness doesn't need validation. If something brings you peace, you don't owe an explanation to anyone. The family you consciously build and nurture matters more than the one you were born into. The deeper you understand yourself, the less desperate you'll be for outside approval. Your past may not have unfolded the way you wanted, but that doesn't mean your future cannot surpass every dream you've ever imagined. Never allow small-minded people to shrink your vision. Your dreams are meant to be big. And remember, in trying to please everyone, you often end up pleasing no one, including yourself. True transformation requires courage, persistence, and the refusal to remain the same. Staying true to yourself is never simple, but it's necessary. The truth is, no matter who you meet, at some point they will hurt you in some way. The key is to recognize which people are worth the pain and which ones are not. When you constantly question whether something belongs in your life, the answer is usually already no. Learn to embrace both praise and criticism, because just like a tree needs both sunshine and rain, your growth comes from balance. Forgive yourself for the choices you made in the past. You did the best you could with the knowledge you had at that moment. Don't let your present wisdom turn into punishment for your former self. Unhealthy patterns can feel comfortable, like a warm bed you don't want to leave, but staying there will hold you back. In the long run, we regret the opportunities we were too scared to take, the connections we never gave a chance, and the decisions we postponed until it was too late. Waiting for change without taking action is like standing at a bus stop, hoping for a train that will never come. Wisdom often arrives in three ways: through reflection, which is the most noble, through imitation, which is the easiest, and through personal experience, which can be the hardest but also the most transformative. Don't allow the noise of other people's judgments to silence the voice inside you. Hope for the best, but prepare yourself for challenges. Respect yourself deeply, because the way you carry yourself is visible to everyone around you. You will never please the entire world, and trying will only exhaust you. Protect your energy by distancing yourself from those who never acknowledge their own mistakes, but are quick to point out yours. When the journey feels overwhelming, don't stare at the whole staircase. Just focus on the step ahead. Have the courage to be a beginner, even if it means stumbling at first. Remember, your thoughts and words are like boomerangs. Whatever you throw into the world will eventually return to you. The words we resist are often the ones we most need to hear. The more time you spend holding on to things not meant for you, the further you delay the opportunities that are. Procrastination doesn't just waste time. It steals the version of life you could have lived. Never depend completely on others, because even your own shadow disappears when the light is gone. You cannot serve or love others well if you are running on empty. You must first refill your own cup. It is far better to act and make mistakes than to stay still and regret never trying. Excuses may bring you comfort today, but they will make tomorrow heavy with consequences. Discipline may feel uncomfortable in the moment, but it builds an easier tomorrow. If you are naturally giving, learn where to draw the line, because those who constantly take often never know when to stop. A cluttered mind will always make your hands drop what's important. Before sharing your burdens, try to search for solutions yourself. Resilience is born in solitude. Lack of progress doesn't always mean lack of ability. Often it's not talent that's missing, but focus. Not skill, but consistency. Not resources, but strategy. Not potential, but discipline. Your future lies entirely in your hands, while doubts exist only in your head. Everyone wishes they could skip the struggle, but it is within the struggle that character, strength, and wisdom are formed. Dwelling in self-pity is dangerous. It keeps you trapped in the very place you long to escape. Vision without committed action is nothing but a dream disguised as reality. The more energy you spend trying to erase someone from your memory, the more deeply you carve them into your thoughts. Do not let the absence of support hold you back from reaching your goals. The real danger isn't losing people. It's losing yourself in the process of trying to keep everyone else happy. Procrastination is simply weakness wearing the mask of comfort. And as maturity grows, you'll come to understand. Silence carries more weight than arguments, and strength is proven by presence, not noise. When you fail to set boundaries, you silently allow others to cross lines and erode respect. Show your worth through consistent effort, not endless talk. Stop holding on to people or opportunities that clearly don't choose you back. Learn to be at peace with not always being invited, noticed, or included. Your value doesn't shrink because someone else overlooks it. Growth doesn't happen instantly, but if you give up, it won't happen at all. Your job may provide a living, but working on yourself creates true wealth. Remember, the beginning of any journey often feels like the hardest part. Even a rocket burns most of its fuel at liftoff before reaching space. Some people resist truth because it threatens the illusions they depend on. Never be angry at the results you didn't earn through effort. Every success story begins with the courage to take one small step. Choose solitude until you find relationships where you are valued. Without preparation, failure is almost certain, because neglecting to plan is planning to fail. What you say about others is often a mirror reflecting who you are. Don't fear starting over. You're not beginning from nothing, you're beginning from wisdom and experience. The future itself isn't uncertain. It's your doubts that cloud it. Stop expecting life to hand you fairness. Instead, expect yourself to rise to the challenge, to become skillful enough to handle whatever comes. When you let go of chasing what isn't meant for you, you create space for the right things to find you. Embarrassment is part of the ticket you pay when learning something new. If you're unwilling to look inexperienced, you'll never transform into a master. Your happiness is your responsibility. Relying on others to create it will only leave you empty. Trust that you already know what steps you need to take. The challenge lies not in knowledge, but in action and persistence. Don't keep waiting for the perfect time. The right time is now. Remember, not everyone is meant to stay in your journey. Some people enter your life only to leave lessons behind before moving on. Strive to be kind and genuine, but don't waste your energy constantly trying to prove it to others. Something being difficult doesn't mean it cannot be done. The simplest way to keep a promise is often by avoiding promises you cannot fulfill. Expect very little from others, but hold yourself to higher standards. That's the true foundation of lasting happiness. Many times we regret the words spoken in anger, but rarely do we regret the moments we chose silence. And if someone disappoints you once, don't allow them the chance to do it twice. No challenge is truly impossible if you learn to break it into smaller, manageable tasks. One action today is far more valuable than endless plans for tomorrow. Never sacrifice your personal progress in the name of loyalty to someone who might not stand by you in return. Each day you wake up is both the oldest you have ever been and the youngest you will ever be again. Treat it as a gift. Happiness isn't something to postpone for the future. It's something you consciously build in the present. Protect your privacy. Your personal life blooms more beautifully in silence, and victories shine brighter when shared at the right time. Sometimes being alone is healthier than surrounding yourself with people who only wear the mask of love. Don't fear letting go of something good if it clears the path for something greater. With every disappointment, you grow stronger and learn that life keeps moving forward, no matter what. At times, you must release what seems valuable in order to receive something even better. Trust carefully because appearances deceive. Salt and sugar may look alike, yet they are entirely different. Success is measured by achieving the things you desire, while happiness is found in learning to desire and appreciate what you already have. True wisdom lies in balancing both. Many people remain stuck in the same place, not because they lack ability, but because the things they cling to have become heavy anchors. If you want to move forward, you must sometimes release what feels safe. Always prioritize yourself and your well-being before you can truly give to others. There are moments when the greatest battle you will ever fight is the one against your own habits, fears and doubts. Motivation will not always be there, which is why discipline is essential. It is the engine that keeps you moving even when your emotions fade. The fastest path to progress is not waiting until you're ready, but starting now and learning as you go. A parked car will never teach you how to drive. Only movement brings lessons. Pain often leads to clarity. Some of your best decisions will come from the desire never to repeat the same hurt again. The way you spend your working hours shapes what you own, but the way you spend your free time determines who you truly become. If you treat people only as they are, they will remain the same. But if you treat them as though they are already capable of becoming their best selves, you give them room to rise. One of the quickest ways to lift your spirit is to focus on lifting someone else's. Work as if no one is coming to rescue you, because that determination builds resilience. If you live your life constantly chained to the opinions of others, then your life does not fully belong to you. Ironically, those you love most deeply can also become your greatest vulnerabilities, which is why balance and awareness matter. When you set your mind firmly on a clear goal, you'll be surprised how quickly circumstances and opportunities shift to open the way. The moment you recognize your true worth, you'll wonder why you ever accepted so little. Keep some of your thoughts, plans, and insights private. The friend who walks with you today could become tomorrow's critic. If someone only sees you as an option, remind yourself you always have the power to walk away. And never forget, reaching something new almost always requires letting go of something old. It is wiser to let go of certain things at the right moment. Otherwise, life becomes crowded with regrets and endless complaints. Be quick to take action, but learn to be patient when waiting for results. The only real limits are the ones you build in your own mind. Protect your growth by creating distance from people who bring out the version of you that you no longer want to be. Solitude should not be feared. It can be embraced as a sacred space for reflection, healing, and rediscovery. Learn to forgive your past self, for you have already changed. Remember, secrets are rarely kept forever. Many you trusted have already shared them with others. Stop wishing to avoid challenges, because the struggle itself is what forges strength and character. When you define a problem clearly, the solution begins to reveal itself. There are no real shortcuts to destinations that matter. Every worthwhile path requires effort and persistence. A person's true integrity is revealed in the choices they make when no one else is watching. Sometimes doing what is right for yourself means others, even those you love, may feel hurt, but neglecting your own path is a deeper wound. If you devote your life only to building someone else's dream, you sacrifice your own vision. The first and most powerful step forward is deciding that you will no longer remain where you are. For decades, we waste time caring too much about the opinions of others. In youth, we obsess over what they think. Later, we pretend not to care. And with maturity, we finally realize they were never thinking of us that much at all. Face your fears directly, or they will eventually overpower you. Loneliness often accompanies growth, but it is the cost of evolving into your fullest self. To truly love who you are today, you cannot despise the experiences that shaped you. Instead of comparing or proving yourself, focus your energy on becoming a better version of you each day. Life becomes lighter when you learn to release things at the right moment, instead of carrying regrets and endless complaints. Act quickly when opportunities call, but nurture patience while waiting for results. The greatest barriers are not outside of you, but the ones you construct within your own mind. Guard your growth by stepping away from people who awaken the version of yourself you no longer wish to be. Solitude is not emptiness. It is a sacred ground for reflection, healing, and rediscovery. Forgive the person you once were, because change has already taken place. Accept that secrets rarely remain hidden forever, for trust often travels further than we intend. Stop wishing life were easier. The struggle is where strength, wisdom, and character are born. Clarity in defining a problem is often the beginning of the solution. No worthwhile path comes with shortcuts. Persistence is the price of arrival. True integrity is revealed in the choices we make when no one is watching. Sometimes protecting your own path may hurt others, even those you love, but betraying yourself is the deepest wound of all. To spend your life chasing someone else's dream is to abandon your own. The first bold step toward transformation is deciding you will not remain where you are. Through life's decades, we obsess over others' opinions, then deny we care, only to realize later they were never thinking of us that much anyway. Face your fears, or they will consume you. Loneliness may walk beside growth, but it is part of becoming whole. To love who you are today, you must also honor the experiences that shaped you. Instead of comparing or proving yourself, invest in becoming better each day. Remember, it is better to walk alone than to remain in bad company. If you do not make yourself indispensable, you risk being forgotten. Success is rarely about miracles. It is about doing ordinary things with extraordinary dedication. Time is the one resource you can never reclaim. Once wasted, it is gone forever. Obstacles are not detours. They are the very path itself. Your words define you more deeply than your appearance, for speech holds the power to heal or to harm, to build or to destroy. If you want to go fast, walk alone. But if you want to go far, walk together. Surround yourself only with those who uplift your spirit and push you toward the person you are meant to become. Seek the company of those who lift you higher, for growth flourishes in supportive soil. Courage begins the moment. Fear loses its grip, and progress always starts with a simple decision, refusing to remain stuck where you are. Obstacles only appear terrifying when your focus drifts away from your goals. And remember, betrayal is never from your enemies. It is most painful when it comes from those you once trusted. The days you will cherish are not the ones spent doing nothing, but the moments filled with purpose and presence. Peace arrives when you stop labeling everything as liked or disliked, and instead see life as it truly is. Waiting for the perfect moment is futile. Take the moment you have and make it perfect through action and intention. Hard times, though difficult, reveal the genuine character of those around you. Their true colors surface when circumstances are heavy. What the mind can imagine and truly believe, it has the power to create. Maturity is shown by taking responsibility for your choices, no matter the outcome. Let your goals act as a compass, guiding you steadily through life's storms and uncertainties. Time is your most precious possession. If you treat it lightly, others will too. Protect your mental health above all relationships. Nothing is worth sacrificing your peace of mind. Seek the wisdom of the elderly, for their experiences hold lessons no book can teach. Learn also that even if you catch others when they fall, no one is guaranteed to catch you when it's your turn. Life is fragile. Sometimes you see someone for the last time without even knowing it. Every ordinary moment holds value, but often it is only recognized once it has turned into memory. Not every thought deserves your attention. Just because it enters your mind does not mean it deserves your energy. Surround yourself with people who nourish your spirit and feed your soul with wisdom and kindness, not with bitterness or resentment. If you want your present life to look different from your past, study where you came from and learn the lessons hidden there. True happiness comes when you allow each situation to be as it is, rather than forcing it into the mold of what you think it should look like. As you write the story of your life, never hand the pen to someone else. Only you can shape your destiny. At every moment, there are always different roads available to you, and it's never too late to change your direction. Do not view others as rivals. Their path, ambition, and gifts are not the same as yours. Your journey is uniquely yours, incomparable to anyone else's. If you maintain a positive outlook, even in the darkest circumstances, you have already won half the battle. The heaviest load people carry is not physical, but the crushing weight of expectations, both their own and those imposed by others. Learn to accept rejection with grace, for it is an unavoidable part of growth. Perseverance, more than talent or luck, is the single most essential trait for success, for it conquers obstacles that even nature itself puts in your way. Do not allow past wounds to transform you into someone bitter or unrecognizable. Either build your own dream, or risk spending your life building someone else's. Remember, mistakes are not failures, but proof that you are moving, learning, and daring to try. Achievement begins with a clear mental picture of victory. Hold that vision firmly and act upon it daily. Count what is working in your favor, rather than drowning in problems. Take pride in how hard you are fighting to become better. Ships are never destroyed by the ocean around them, but only by the water that seeps inside. Likewise, don't let the negativity of the outside world sink your spirit. Knowledge lies in knowing what to say, but wisdom lies in knowing when to say it. And finally, never wait for inspiration before you begin. Action itself creates inspiration. You are not merely a product of what has happened to you in the past. You are the person you choose to become through your decisions today. Find something you truly love, something steady that you can lean on when life feels overwhelming. Everyone needs an anchor, a passion, a purpose, or a source of joy to keep moving forward during difficult days. Accept that not everyone will value you the way you hope, and let go of the need for their approval. Rejection is not the end. It often redirects you towards something far greater than you imagined. Every storm eventually passes, and what remains is the strength you gain from enduring it. Remember that many of your best memories are still waiting for you in the future. Pause for a moment today to acknowledge how far you've already come, and give yourself credit for the effort you've made. Even if you haven't yet reached the destination you dreamed of, the journey itself is proof of your resilience. Life lessons don't mean much unless you apply them to yourself, and change must always start within. Never twist yourself into someone else's mold just to make another person happy, unless that person is you. Clinging to the past steals the joy of your future. Those who speak behind your back belong exactly where they are, behind you. There are no truly missed opportunities, only paths that were never meant for you. If you refuse to sacrifice for what you want, then what you want will eventually become the sacrifice. Your life stops being your own the moment you live solely to satisfy the opinions of others. Sometimes the healthiest choice is to burn a bridge, ensuring you don't walk back into places that no longer serve you. A person without vision is destined to circle back into old habits and familiar mistakes. That's why every choice you make should be weighed against the losses you're willing to accept. Thinking alone cannot create a new life. Clarity is born from action, and every small step teaches you more than endless reflection. Mistakes are not your enemy. They are signs that you are trying. Just make sure to avoid repeating the same ones. And if moving on feels impossible, begin with something smaller and more manageable. Progress often starts with the tiniest shift forward. There comes a time when moving forward means refusing to turn back. Sometimes you must be a little selfish, not in cruelty but in self-preservation. Put your own well-being first and consider what truly serves your growth. Learn to see people as they are, not as the version you wish them to be. Stay humble enough to recognize you are not above anyone else, yet wise enough to understand that your uniqueness sets you apart. Until you find comfort in solitude, you will never fully know if you are with someone out of genuine love or simply out of fear of loneliness. Your future is not determined by sudden decisions, but by the habits you repeat every day. And those habits quietly shape the life ahead. The sooner you confront the tasks you've been avoiding, the sooner you create space for the blessings you've been waiting for. Life becomes lighter when you learn to accept what cannot be changed and gather the courage to change what cannot be tolerated. The greatest challenge any of us face is discovering our true selves. The second is finding contentment in what we uncover. Often we think we understand people, but most of the time we only see what we want to believe. If you fail to take control of your own thoughts, someone else will eventually guide them for you. Some individuals exist in your story only to show you who not to become. Love too is beyond control. You cannot force anyone to care for you, and you cannot command your own heart to love someone it does not. Never trade long-term opportunity for short-lived comfort. Real confidence is not born from a guarantee of success, but from becoming comfortable with failure and learning to rise again. Sometimes the path that feels hardest is also the one that is most right. Remember, we are the reflection of the company we keep. Surround yourself with people of integrity if you wish to grow into one. Do not expect change if you are unwilling to act differently. People will come and go from your life, and often the ones you thought would remain are the very ones who turn into memories. Memories of moments we once thought would last forever often fade, reminding us that nothing is truly permanent. Without realizing it, we teach others how to treat us through what we allow, what we ignore, and what we demand. The real purpose of an argument is not to prove one person right and the other wrong, but to create mutual understanding. If something frightens you, that may be the very reason you should try it. It could be the doorway to growth. Your worth does not decrease simply because someone else is blind to it. Emotions themselves are not inherently bad. It is how we respond to them that makes the difference. Negative feelings can be transformed into fuel for creativity, resilience, and action if you learn to direct them wisely. Cherish those who expand your perspective and challenge your way of thinking. They are far more valuable than those who simply agree with everything you say. Often, your enemies will speak harsh truths that friends soften or avoid, and even painful honesty can help you grow. Learn to accept that not everyone will like you. Striving for universal approval is a prison, but embracing the possibility of rejection grants you freedom. Speak words that reflect your true self, not just what pleases the crowd. If someone's absence leaves you feeling lighter and more at peace, then you haven't lost anything at all. We tend to overestimate what can be achieved in a single year while underestimating the immense progress possible in 5. A chaotic past or difficult childhood does not define you. It can, in fact, become a powerful source of strength for your future. When something is beyond your control, give it permission to leave your thoughts as well. Starting over is not failure. It is beginning again with experience, which is far more valuable than starting from nothing. Taking responsibility for your life is empowering. It shifts you from helplessness to action, from victimhood to ownership. Remember, those closest to you, friends and family, may not always know what is right for your journey. Sometimes loneliness appears as a companion on the road of self-improvement, but it is not a punishment. It is proof of growth. And above all, never take people for granted, for you rarely realize how much they mean until they are gone. You only realize the true value of people when they are no longer present in your life. If you want to avoid being deceived, judge individuals by what they consistently do, not by what they say. When someone reveals their real nature, believe them. Don't waste energy trying to repaint them into who you wish they were. Motivation often comes not from waiting, but from taking even the smallest step toward your goal. The nights you spent doing nothing will vanish from memory, but the moments when a supportive hand rested on your shoulder in difficult times will stay with you far longer than the applause of success. Forgiveness is not about excusing the one who caused harm. It is about releasing yourself from the chains of resentment. Life unfolds in the present. Dwelling too much on the past or postponing everything for the future robs you of what is happening now. Those who pretend will eventually forget their act. Truth always reveals itself. Remember, you are responsible for your actions, regardless of your mood or circumstances. Honesty may not bring you crowds of companions, but it will attract the kind of people worth keeping. Learn to accept people for who they show themselves to be, not who you imagine they could become. No matter how talented you are, being in the wrong environment can silence your gifts. Success rarely comes from a single grand gesture. It is the result of countless small, consistent efforts repeated with persistence. In life, you may choose a path that is safe, comfortable and free of stress, or one that is harder, riskier, yet filled with meaning and purpose. A wise person is one who admits mistakes without shame, learns lessons from them, and has the courage to make corrections. When you constantly blame others for your problems, you give away your power and allow them to control your happiness. And never forget, sometimes people begin to dislike you not because you've done something wrong, but because you've dared to grow beyond who they expected you to be. When people can no longer control you, they often begin to resent you. Learn to forgive yourself for the things you didn't know before wisdom reached you. If you are always trying to convince someone of your worth, you've already misplaced it. When promises dissolve into apologies, it's time to walk away. Purpose is not something you stumble upon in another place or in someone else. It's something you create where you stand. It's the meaning you give to your own journey. And remember, there is no single cure-all for life's challenges. No relationship, achievement, or possession will erase every struggle. A lingering sense of imperfection is part of being human. A fulfilled life is not free of stress. It is one filled with meaningful stress, the kind that shapes you rather than destroys you. Some painful memories won't disappear, but over time, they lose their grip because you stop caring as much. Until then, don't punish yourself by clinging to them. It is never too late to pursue the things your heart has longed for. Ignore the voices of doubters, for they often project their own fears onto you. As your love for yourself grows, you'll naturally distance yourself from people, habits, and environments that do not return that love. Follow your heart, but never abandon your mind. Excuses and results cannot exist together. You must choose one. Growth begins when you take on challenges you feel unprepared for. Be wise enough to seek guidance, but also discerning enough to know from whom to accept it. Over time, the more victories you claim against fear, the more fearless you become. Never give someone the role of priority in your life if they only see you as an afterthought. Those who risk may lose, but those who refuse to risk have already lost everything. The only path to genuine self-respect is to engage in actions that give you reasons to be proud of who you are. Many things in life will shatter your heart, but through the cracks, your vision often becomes clearer. Don't turn away from experiences simply because they are unfamiliar or uncomfortable. Those very moments may shape your identity and become the most treasured chapters of your story. Not everyone will recognize your worth, but the greatest tragedy would be if you failed to see it yourself. Life can change in a single heartbeat, so rather than drifting through it on autopilot, choose to be grateful and purposeful with what you have. Use your time, your energy, and your gifts to create something good. One of the most harmful mistakes you can make is giving too much weight to someone else's opinion of who you are. Remember, your relationships with others mirror the relationship you have with yourself. Tomorrow can be dramatically different from today if you are willing to try. But if you spend all your energy obsessing over what isn't working, tomorrow will look exactly like yesterday. It's not about waiting for time to appear. It's about carving out time for what matters. Kindness is noble, but constant niceness without boundaries opens the door for others to use you. Learn when to say no. Sometimes the version of yourself you cling to is the very thing holding you back. Have the courage to let that old self die so a stronger one can emerge. Protect your time, because not everyone deserves it. Never be so loyal to others that you betray yourself in the process. You can't have everything. Life is always an exchange. For every yes, something else must be given up. Weak people seek revenge, strong people learn to forgive, and the truly wise learn when to walk away. What you sacrifice, reject, and choose not to do is just as important as what you embrace. Much of who you are is shaped by the expectations of those around you. But if you don't decide your identity for yourself, others will happily do it for you. Growth only comes in proportion to what you are willing to release, endure, and confront. The hardest truths to face are often the ones about yourself. Yet real growth only begins when you stop running away from them. Time is always there. The question is, how long you will keep inventing excuses and pretending it isn't. Life doesn't wait. It moves quickly. And if you never pause to look around and reflect, you might miss its most beautiful moments. Be cautious. The most dangerous enemies are often disguised as friends. Not every conflict requires your presence. Sometimes the wisest choice is simply not to attend the argument at all. And when it comes to your past, remember this: no one else can fully understand its weight or meaning. Share it carelessly, and it may be twisted against you. Success and failure are not permanent states. They exist only in your perception before you attempt something, never after. What truly shapes your world is gratitude. The more thankful you are, the more beauty you will notice, and the more generous life will appear. Stop projecting goodness onto people who consistently show you otherwise. Learn to see what they reveal through their actions. If there's something you feel called to do, act now. Years can vanish in the blink of an eye, leaving behind nothing but regret. Many of the burdens you carry will dissolve when you surround yourself with thoughtful, wiser companions. Everything unfolds in its proper season. Patience and trust in the process are essential. Still, you must accept that sometimes you cannot rescue those you love from their own poor decisions. Envy is a thief of joy, and often pointless. You already hold far more than you recognize. The world will constantly try to label you, to decide who you should be. If you never pause to reflect, you risk losing the voice of your true self beneath the noise. So embrace each moment fully. Every sacrifice, every compromise you make along the way is not just a cost. It is an investment in the kind of life you wish. Rewards always follow the sacrifices and compromises you make. But remember, an apology that isn't backed by genuine change is nothing more than emotional manipulation. You never truly understand who someone is until you share a daily life with them. That's why moving in together often reveals more about a person than years of dating. Be cautious about marriage. Living together first can save you from painful surprises. Seeking revenge against someone who hurt you won't bring peace. It only deepens the wound. In time, you will look back and recognize why certain painful chapters were necessary for your growth. You cannot dictate how others act, but you always have control over your own reactions. Protect your emotional energy. Stop creating relationship dramas with people you aren't even committed to. Once someone leaves your life, even if they return, they will never be the same person you once knew. Overthinking steals action. If you spend endless time planning instead of doing, nothing gets accomplished. Keep your promises. Your word is your reputation. Once lost, that trust is nearly impossible to fully restore. Remember, trust may take years to build, but only seconds to shatter, and often a lifetime to repair. Discipline can feel heavy in the moment, but the rewards it produces will make you grateful you endured it. Still, you cannot force someone to transform. There comes a point when you must accept that if a person doesn't want to change, no amount of effort from you will make it happen. Missing someone doesn't mean they deserve a place in your present life. Procrastination carries the highest price, the unlived version of your life, filled with lost opportunities. Be intentional about whom you confide in. Sharing your vulnerabilities with the wrong person can turn into a weapon against you. Solitude, though often uncomfortable, teaches the mind resilience and independence. In silence, you learn to rely on your own strength and discover that authenticity matters more than masks. Eventually, those who live with double faces will reveal their truth, and by then, you will know exactly where you stand. People who wear too many masks eventually lose track of who they really are. Remember, what you continuously tolerate will keep repeating in your life. True friendships reveal themselves when you are at rock bottom, not when everything is going well. Live on your own terms, because even those who genuinely love you cannot walk every step of the journey beside you. Choosing what is best for yourself will anger some people, but neglecting your own needs will cost you far more. If you are unable to care for yourself, you will never have the energy or clarity to care for anyone else. Potential alone is not an accomplishment. It is only a possibility until you take action. Real maturity comes when you stop over-investing in other people's lives just to prove your loyalty. Doing too much for others at the expense of your own value does not make you noble. It makes you invisible to yourself. Learn to treat people in the same way they treat you. If life gives you a rare second chance, do not waste it repeating the same mistakes. Stop searching for happiness in the same broken places where you once lost it. True strength is not in convincing others to choose you, but in accepting when they don't, and allowing them to walk away without begging. There is a reason some people belong in your past and not in your present. Honesty is precious, and you cannot expect it from people who live cheaply with their words. Many will appear kind only when the stakes are low, but their true nature surfaces in difficult times. Never be so gentle that people take advantage of you, and never be so clever that you lose compassion in the process. The hardest moments of life are often faced in solitude, but these very seasons shape you into a wiser, braver, and more resilient person. Some individuals will only value you as long as you are useful to them. But the day you recognize your worth, it will be impossible to keep settling for such one-sided relationships. Maturity also teaches this. Not every connection is meant to be repaired. Some endings are the closure you didn't know you needed. In life, even a single careless decision can alter everything, so tread carefully. Do not resort to lies or betrayal. Choose honesty and loyalty as your compass. Never dismiss the feelings someone entrusts you with. Behind every confession is a hidden courage that deserves respect. Remember, when you try to focus on too many things at once, you end up mastering none. Holding on to resentment is like drinking poison while hoping another person will suffer. In the end, it only corrodes your spirit. Loyalty is not something you can demand. It is freely given, or it doesn't exist at all. You might pour your heart into someone and still not be treated with the same sincerity. If you waste your energy blaming others, you hand them control over your happiness and stall your own healing. One day, your home may finally be spotless, your car gleaming without a trace of chaos, yet your heart will long for the laughter and mess of those who once filled it. Actions always reveal who people are. Words reveal only who they want you to believe they are. If someone begins to avoid you, respect the silence. Don't chase where you are no longer welcome. Generosity is a gift, but it must be guarded, for too much kindness can become an open door for exploitation. Real growth does not need applause or validation. It exists even when no one is watching. Expectations are heavy chains. The fewer you carry, the lighter and freer you will walk. Chasing the impossible task of pleasing everyone is the surest way to lose yourself. The only time you should glance into another person's bowl is to check whether they have enough, not to compare or envy. When faced with the choice of being right or being kind, choose kindness. It lasts longer than pride. Never take criticism to heart from those whose advice you would never consider. If all your energy goes into building another person's vision, you risk burying your own. Those who lack direction in their own lives will often try to rewrite yours. Be mindful of whose influence you allow into your path. Do not let yourself be consumed by drama that isn't yours to carry. You cannot lose what was never truly in your possession, and you cannot force something to remain in your life if it does not wish to stay. Life is full of constant change, and it often grants us another chance. Each sunrise is proof that tomorrow is waiting for you to begin again. People will sometimes disappoint or deceive you if you give them the opportunity, and often it only takes a small crack for dishonesty to enter. Yet it is never too late to begin anew, to reshape yourself into a better, wiser version of who you are. When you quietly do the right thing, others may not even notice, but the value of your integrity remains untouched. Never sacrifice your own well-being just to keep someone else comfortable. Burning yourself out for others will only leave you empty. Those who truly care for you will accept you as you are, and those who constantly judge you were never meant to matter. Be cautious. Appearances can be misleading, and words can be even more deceptive. Do not expect anyone else to catch you every time you fall, even if you have been the one lifting others in their darkest moments. Friendship sometimes wears a mask. Years may pass before you recognize who truly stood beside you and who only pretended. Every ending carries within it the seed of a beginning, though at the time it may feel like loss. Life will knock you down again and again, but the real defeat comes only if you refuse to rise. Even if the world doubts you, your belief in yourself can still carry you through. Not every person you meet is meant to walk the road ahead with you. Some arrive only for a short while, bringing lessons, experiences, and growth before they fade from your journey.